Boy, guys, let me tell you something. What a great opportunity it is to have our show, Freedom Link Radio, on Orion Talk Radio. Welcome aboard, everybody. Joe Joseph here, along with my co-hosts John King and Gwen Caldwell. Gwen, how you doing this evening?
Well, thank you. Oh, it's so great to be back on the radio and to be on Orion. I'm so excited. Yay.
Hot diggity doggity, I tell you what. And there's just so much to talk about. That's what's so incredible, is that you don't realize when you have a show, you're always struggling like, oh, God, what am I going to talk about today? You know, and now that we've kind of had this little hiatus, it's like, oh, man, I need an outlet. I need an outlet. It's almost like a smack addict, you know, trying to get his fix.
I had to start writing. I had to have some kind of platform. I mean, you can't just walk around with all that stuff inside of you. Geez.
No, it's awful. You want to explode. You're afraid your head's going to pop off your shoulders. It's something totally. Ugh. Well, anyway, folks, we're here. Anybody wants to check out the website, it's thefreedomlinkradio.com. Hasn't been updated in quite a while, only because like I said, it's been hard trying to find a home where we can have consistency. And what we did is we really found Orion to be, it's an up-and-coming station. It's got a lot of potential, And gosh, the guys that precedes me, Popeye. I mean, how can you not like Popeye and that show, and then to be able to come on after him? It's wonderful. But let's dig into it, Gwen. I want to talk about. Oh, let's see. What's got my blood boiling tonight? Oh,
what doesn't?
let's talk about a little bit of something called a Dream Act.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
All right. Well, apparently our illustrious president, blah blah blah, has by executive order implemented the Dream Act. And of course, that was done during a time when we're focused on some other things. They always make sure that this stuff comes out on a very slow media day or a very big media day when it kind of just gets brushed under the rug.
Yeah, I was going to say, because they certainly didn't go out of their way. The mainstream media certainly didn't go out of their way to publicize this at all. Nothing whatsoever.
And I believe that Congress I believe Congress knows exactly what's going on, and they're complacent in this, therefore guilty of constructive fraud by allowing the president to dictate law through executive orders. People need to understand that the president has the power through the Constitution and several other, subsequent acts to utilize presidential executive orders. But primarily, those executive orders were designed to be for his cabinet.
Right, exactly.
Not to legislate law to the country. That is the role of Congress, not the president.
Exactly. Gwen,
that's what people are misunderstanding about these presidential executive orders.
Let me just put it in perspective for everybody. What an executive order was supposed to be in the beginning of this great nation of ours was, well, let's see here. I like my skivvies folded this way. So that's what an executive order was. I like 2 lumps of sugar in my coffee. That's what executive order was. Not, well, let's see here. Dream Act fails Congress, so I'm just going to executive order it and make it happen. So
this is absolutely treasonous. It's treasonous. And I want to tell you, he has a very bold and clear agenda, and he's not even being discreet about it anymore. This is such a bitch slap, so in your face, that nobody in this country can think for a heartbeat that there is nothing going on, because he came right out and said, he said it out of his own mouth, Congress doesn't want to pass this. They don't want to pass that. I will legislate by executive order. And I'm telling you what, if he's not true to his word, I don't know what is.
No, he sure is.
I say take the pins, remove the pins from the Oval Office. Don't even let that guy get a pin in his hand. It's disastrous.
And the keyboards, by cracky, take them all away. But here's a little excerpt. Here's a little excerpt from the Examiner. The Examiner reported on Friday, the Obama administration issued a memo announcing that federal immigration officials do not have to deport illegal aliens if they're enrolled in any type of education program, if their family members have volunteered for U.S. military service, or even if they're pregnant or nursing. This new policy of prosecutorial discretion was quietly announced on Friday afternoon and completely ignored by the mainstream press. Author of Arizona's SB 1070 and Kansas Secretary of State Chris Kobach told the Daily Caller they're pushing the immigration agents to be even more lax, to go further into not enforcing the law. At a time when millions of Americans are unemployed and looking for work, this is more bad news coming from the Obama administration. If the Obama administration really cared about putting Americans back to work, it would be vigorously enforcing the law. And that's true to an extent, but just like we say all the time, Gwen, there's always agendas behind everything. And the idea of making illegals legal or keeping them here gives Obama just that much more when it comes time for re-election to be able to get him in. Because now he's got not only the illegals who, come on now, we all know the illegals vote. They all get their fake licenses. They all go there and they go to the polling stations. They pull the lever. They push the button, you know. And then they've got their families of the people that are already here, that are already legal, that have been here for a long time. So all he's doing is just trying to get his base established, because it's taken quite a hit due to the economy being as it has for quite some time. And let me tell you,
do we have any statistics on by ethnicity how voters are registered to vote? And I asked that question because it's a kind of a general consensus in South Dakota, where I live. We've got 9 Indian reservations, prisoner of war camps.
Right.
It's pretty widely assumed that they're all Democrats. And we have a huge number of registered voters that are either independent, libertarian, constitutional party, or Republican Party, because it is more congruent with their traditional values, namely protection of all life is sacred. And so that's more congruent than with the Democrats. Although a lot of them are registered Democrat, they're not, as a rule, a voting Democrat, and a lot of them did not vote for Obama, and the ones that did are sorrier than heck, and they're like going, I'm never going to vote for that guy again. No way.
Now,
so
you know,
are the Mexican, is the Mexica population, are they like the Indian people? Are they primarily Democrats, or?
I don't know. I mean, I would assume so, only because that. See, here's the problem, and we're going to be running up against a break, so I don't want to get too far into it right now. But we've got an idea of the way things are. Like, if you're Democrat, well, then you're pro entitlement, and if you're Republican, well, you know, you're pro this and that. And we'll get into it more after the break. But I certainly want people to understand that this whole idea of Democrat-Republican, it's all crap. So tune in, folks. We'll be right back after the break. It's Joe Joseph. This is Freedom Link Radio. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Freedom Link Radio, everybody. This is Joe Joseph. Alongside me is Gwen Caldwell and John King. So before the break, we were talking about, where do Democrats stand as far as the voting bloc? So you're a Democrat. What does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean a whole hill of beans, but I will say this, Gwen, that yes, what happens is typically when you get a Democrat president in office, it's very hard to get them out of office because you automatically have right off the bat about 45 to 50% of the voting bloc in their pocket because of entitlements and because of, the giveaways. Yeah, of course. And that's what they quote unquote stand for. Now, do I believe that? In some ways I do, and in some ways I don't. Because to say that the Democrats are any different than the Republicans is, to me, it's kind of bunk. They're one and the same. They really are. Case in point, George Bush. George Bush oversaw the largest expansion in government in the history of this nation with the Department of Homeland Security. He increased the size of government 40%.
Right, and he did that with a House, with a Congress that was Democrat.
Oh yeah, well they love that. They're all for that. Hoorah! Expand government. Yee-hoo! All right. He's playing my song, baby, and that's the way they feel. And that's great. But I've heard us referred to by critics as saying we're ultra right wing, and I got news for you. I'm ultra no wing. As a matter of fact, we had Michael Bednarik on the show not too long ago, and he put it so good when he said, anybody that thinks that it's a two-dimensional thing, the left-right thingy, they're way off. He says, you got the left, you got the right, but you also got up and down, because this is a three-dimensional thing we've got going on here. So he says you got the people on the left that say, hey, look, you can have your Playboy, and you can have your free speech, and go get your abortion, and do whatever you want to do. Hey, but give us your money, because we know how to spend it. No problem. Then you got the guys on the right, and the right guys are like, no Playboy, no abortion, no, but we'll make sure that you're safe and protected, and you can have your money. You can have your money because we think that you're better suited to have your money. That's fine, but we're going to make sure that you're safe and protected. So you don't have as many rights with the right, but you keep more of your money. Well, then you got the down, and the down people are your despots, your tyrannical dictators, your Obamanoids, your Bushes, that say, we want your money and your rights, screw you. And then you have the up people, and now see, I'm an up man, and I'm sure you're an up woman, which says, hell no, I want my money and my rights. And that's the way it is. So to say that I'm left or right, hell no, I'm up. And that's what I tell people.
Well, I think I agree, Joe, and I think what another huge misconception that people have is that we're still functioning in a de jure government. We do not have a de jure government. We have a de facto government. They are a corporation. And in a conversation I had today, I said, it's like getting an attorney when you go to court. They're an officer of the very court that they're representing your interest in front of. How do you resolve the conflict of interest? It's the same way with our congressional representatives. We elect them to go be a party to the corporation. Now, the corporation's writing their paycheck. So how do they resolve their conflict of interest between representing the people and doing what the hand that feeds them says to do? It's not about parties. And people clearly need to understand, if they want anything to change, we have got to get our de jure government back, and we need to drop this corporate fantasy of a government. They are not a government. They are a corporation, and they are de facto. They are not a constitutional de jure